Flyover state of film was shot in front of a live studio audience.
Back, guys, to another episode of Flyover Instead of Film. As always, with me, my beautiful boys that are gonna experiment in the summer: Joe, TJ, and Brian.
They
How's it
keep
going,
flip
guys?
flopping on they make me want to. They're like, no cocaine, fine, I'm not coming. Oh, but dick sucking, now I might have to go. It's like really, it's wild. It's
We go to the
How's it
bean.
going?
You're allowed to go into the bean now.
Listen, man, it's all good.
Do a key bump off the bean. So, hey,
Substitutes.
internet is going crazy, huh? I'm just gonna jump right into it. Fuck it. The Oscars happened not so long ago. I don't know when this is gonna come out because TJ's still holding me up with a couple episodes that he has on his belt. But this
Wow,
is
okay.
gonna come out on some.
still doing this, huh?
We're
Still
still
doing
this
it.
bit's dead, man. It's
No,
fine.
it's not dead. It's not dead until he fucking. So the Oscars, huh?
My favorite person.
What do you guys want to talk about?
So did anyone watch the Oscars, or was it just
So
me?
La La Land didn't win?
No, it didn't. Man, it's wild.
Where? Alright.
No,
So
like,
I watched. So
no, I never watched. So I can't. I feel like I'm not like the person that's. I never watched the Oscars.
So
but it
I
feels
watched-
like even people who do usually didn't.
So can you guys let me go off for a second?
Oh,
So I watched the Oscars. Actually, this year I watched every movie except Mank.
Yeah, because they were easy to get a hold of because all the good movies were held back.
I
Yeah.
didn't make a podcast with guys who watch Oscar-winning films. All right, like
Well, guess what? I'm not going to see you in Chicago now. But
Now I'm back in.
so anyway, I saw Nomadland should not have won Best Picture. That should have been reserved. That movie, nothing happened. It was all predicated on everyone's feelings of how cool Frances McDormand was.
But that's not the controversy, Joe.
I don't
is
give a
that the
shit.
one where her daughter gets murdered and there's like a billboard and shit?
No,
No.
that's La La Land.
That's
Oh,
not-
that was yet another Oscar. That was Fargo.
So,
She won her
So-
other Oscar for that.
so my pick was Minari. It was a beautiful movie. Or Chicago of Charles 7 was or Judas and the Black Messiah was excellent.
The only Oscar
Sounds
movie I
okay.
watched was Another Round. I watched it this week.
That
And
was a
they
good
should
movie.
not do a remake.
No, absolutely not. But
Well,
so
that's
the
one of the
controversy-
topics. Let's
So
shove
the
that.
controversy. So just let me get back to the controversy of this Oscars was they did Best Picture before they did Best Actress and Actor.
Wild.
Well, Steven Soderbergh directed the Oscars this year, and he was like, I'm going to switch it up by kicking all the homeless people out of Union Square so I can use it as a set and whatever.
Yeah. And the reason they did that, set or
Good
not
for him.
set, was because they were like, well, Chadwick Boseman's going to win Best Actor. We'll end it on a serious note.
Guys, I cannot say how much I love this.
And
I was sure that Chadwick Boseman was going to win. I was like, to me, it was just a lock. And the
For
fact
what?
that they restructured the whole show to do this and then had no plan is
Brian,
so
can I just add to
great.
this though? The thing with this is it's so much different than the whole like La La Land debacle and this because you were banking on a death of a guy.
They love their posthumous Oscars. They love them.
Yeah, you were banking the death of a guy to bring you out on a good note. But having seen The Father, Anthony Hopkins was the best actor. I haven't seen Chadwick Boseman's performance, and he probably was the best
He was incredible.
actor. No, he was probably the best actor.
supposed
Like,
to be our
There's
Oscar
no
guy.
such thing. There is no such thing as the best
Anthony
actor.
Hopkins
Best
was
actor.
just as
I
good.
think Frank Langella on Broadway doing The Father was the best actor. How about that?
Yeah, there's no such thing that you could have just given it to Chadwick. But this has all been a plan, you know. They actually pulled off a heist while this debacle was happening, right? That's my only joke about that because
You think somebody pulled off a heist during this?
yeah,
Anyway,
terrible.
it shouldn't have happened.
What were they
no
heisting?
It
What did they even steal?
our attention.
There's a reason nobody watches this show, guys.
I just want to say one more thing about the show. You know what's wild? There was generally 0 bits in this show, except for in the last almost 30 minutes before 11 o'clock, they decided to do a fucking bit, and it was like, just finish the show. You'll end on time.
I liked
actually.
Harrison Ford reading the Blade Runner notes. That was funny. I saw that online.
Yeah, was yesterday Alien Day?
Yeah, Monday was.
Monday was. Yeah,
4/26 is
Yesterday.
Alien Day.
Yeah.
I'm just so happy that Glenn Close didn't win an Oscar because I really want her to never win because it's getting to a number that is so ridiculous. If she gets to like 0-10, that would be so perfect, honestly.
Well, and like honestly, it's right to not have her win for this particular movie. I'm not there where I don't want her to win at all. I honestly don't care. But don't have her win for this the movie she was up for this year was just god awful. It's a movie that never would have gotten a notice if not for the fucking pandemic and the fact that there wasn't shit coming out and everybody. This is like the B-run Oscars. This is like here's movies that we had no confidence in here that you can pit them against each other and give them awards.
Yeah,
that's what this is.
Talking about movies that you have 0 confidence in. Did you see that the Snyder Cut didn't get any viewership compared to the other Warner Brothers releases?
Yeah, it's was the lowest of the 4 big releases, and they said too that it didn't really bump any subscriber numbers that month either. No new like minimal new subscribers.
DJ, it's not even that people stole it. It's that it was 4 hours long, and I'm sure they fucking stopped it.
And it was a bad movie that they had already seen.
like.
Yeah, but what if it would be 4 hours?
But what if bad movie but more? Oh, ooh.
yes, as we said on this show multiple times, as much as we show, it's a better movie than Joss Whedon's. Doesn't make it a good movie.
I've never said
debatable
because I've never watched it.
So. But the fact that they got more viewership, and I think Jusef said this last time we made fun of the Snyder dorks, is like the whole audience that gets upset online is international, and that doesn't cause a dent is amazing.
Yeah, that's the thing that like I think we don't like. A lot of people don't realize when they're fighting with the Snyder people is that it's a worldwide thing, and most of them don't even have access to HBO Max. They can't watch it. They either pirated it or they haven't seen it.
It was released on multiple platforms. No, it wasn't.
I mean,
can you see it in theaters right now?
But what?
Can you see it in theaters right now?
No, it didn't get a theatrical release.
No. They truly was a digitally release. Yeah. It's not like Godzilla or Mortal Kombat. Like they were like.
I was shocked. Mortal Kombat outdid Godzilla. Now you can say that because they had another month worth of vaccines, and even more people have confidence going in. But it's still pretty impressive.
Yeah.
That was a.
We'll reserve our Mortal Kombat talk once.
It's a
2 out of 4. Watch it.
Yeah, I mean, thanks, TJ. Also, Harrison wanted to watch King Kong 76, and it was on HBO Max. We couldn't watch that, so you disappointed him 2 times. How's that feel?
Though, Harrison?
All right, well, that's pretty
talking about disappointments, Hollywood once again wants to remake an international Oscar-winning movie, and this time around, another round, which is a beautiful film by our boy, our saint patron, Mads Mikkelsen.
And it's in English.
No, it's
No, it's in
it's,
Swedish.
That's
What movie
Dutch.
is about?
Dutch.
It's subtitled.
It's
I'm-
Dutch and it's subtitled and you can read, and there's not a lot of words because mostly it's drinking and emotions and
I'm
feelings.
sorry.
So
Drinking and emotions. We're gonna get this podcast.
It was quite
So,
good. It's
yeah.
a great movie for dudes. It reminds me of Sideways. It's like
Yeah,
a great.
it's one of
It's a
those
great
movies
emotional
that
movie for dudes.
it really captures
Probably better than Sideways.
how fun it is to
Oh, I
be
like
drunk.
Sideways.
I haven't seen Sideways in a while.
I watched
only
it
remember
recently.
the penis running up to
I don't
the
know what any of this is.
the window.
MC Gainey's penis is in it. That makes it a good movie right there.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sure. I watched Sideways recently, and I just didn't connect with me as it did like when it came out. I was like, okay, it's fine.
I mean,
But personally,
I felt that way about The Departed.
Oopsie.
I was like,
But
this
yeah,
is
isn't
good,
isn't
but
it
this
weird
is not
that
Goodfellas.
would you want to, as
can
I don't know, as Leo DiCaprio, would you really want to tackle a movie that
No,
somebody
that-
has just fucking crushed? Like he
Yeah.
crushed
That's what surprised me. It's like Leo is selective about his movies, or at least seemingly so, and he picks this.
Yeah,
and this is not about the
honestly,
environment.
didn't we hear the same thing about Parasite after it won last year? And there's been like no movement on that, so
Yeah,
I could
and
see
there
this being
shouldn't
one of those things that's like an internet rumor that they put out to kind of test the waters, and it never actually becomes a thing. I'm more interested in talking about how Adam Wingard is supposedly getting offered the sequel to Godzilla vs. Kong, and they're floating around Son of Kong.
I'd like that.
That sounds dope.
Son of Kong
Speaking
versus
of though,
Well, would it be in that
TJ.
subterranean, the underground thing?
You would imagine a lot of it would have to.
That
take
would be
place
awesome
on
because that was the
Earth,
best
right?
part of the entire movie.
Well, I think that's the whole thing. Now you can do movies where Godzilla's on the surface and Kong's in the Hollow Earth, and then you can mix and match as you want.
they'll make that lucrative. It was a hit, but TJ, you were gonna say something about.
I don't think he was.
I forget.
Okay. What I want to say
Let
though
me stop
is,
the show dead in its tracks to ask him though.
TJ, what I want to say is that though is things not filmed or things you forgot is recently I did see a Martin Scorsese I've never seen before, and I was really obsessed with it. I watched After Hours. If anyone's seen that,
I have not.
No,
does anyone watch? It's
There's
just a
couple
weird.
Scorsese I haven't seen. I haven't seen Mean Streets either. I need to see Mean. I have
Mean
a copy
Streets
of Mean
is good.
Streets, and I've never
Mean
watched
Streets
it.
is good.
I've never
Mean
seen
Streets is
Raging
good.
Bull.
Raging
Oh
Bull
my
is
god,
excellent.
it's so fucking good. That's like one of those movies that I go like, cinema.
Yeah, that actually.
This is a capital F film.
Yeah. No, I watched After Hours the other night, which was Scorsese after Raging Bull when no one wanted to give him a movie, after King of Comedy, and he just made a weird fucking.
Never saw that either.
He made the movies that are like
It's like
one
Joker, so
night.
it's kind of spoiled.
Like one night
Joker was a
everyone.
copy paste.
Like the one nights everyone changed, like a girl, like Pixie Manic Dream Girl changes your life movies.
Mm-hmm.
This is the anti that, and I fucking loved it.
I'm
Anyway,
interested in checking it out.
it was like Martin Scorsese's Uncut Gems.
So overrated then?
Yes, honestly, probably some
So
film.
would
Got
you
you, Adam
say-
Sandler. Suck it.
Would you say that Uncut Gem was a disappointment for you, TJ?
No, that movie just sucked. But I see.
What about other movies that came out and were disappointments for you, TJ? Take it away.
Oh, this kind of rides off the coattails like the Mortal Kombat thing. Because I mean, if you're anybody from the '90s, early '90s, and you had a Sega
man of a certain age.
Yeah. You had a Sega Genesis, you had a game console back in the day. One of the most popular games ever was Mortal Kombat. And then we had the movie, one of the best soundtracks of all time. And then we just had this other one just come out, 2021. And, if you go by what you read online from all the bloggers and reviewers and all that shit, it's a disappointment. It's like, what? So it made me think, like, before we had any of that bullshit, maybe you had the occasional, like, newspaper article. But for people who were raised without, like, AOL
Like
essentially.
when movies came out and the only thing you had seen was a 5-minute bit on Entertainment Tonight.
Yeah,
You know what I mean? It was like
watch
they showed you a little behind the scenes
This week.
footage.
This week we're interviewing Robin Shu of Mortal Kombat.
But it's like what movie from
How
like
was it playing a video game character?
yeah?
Did
It's like
you
that,
hit
what movies
Y?
from that time disappointed you the most because you were so hype on them? You didn't have the blindness of the internet like distracting you and just telling you how bad it is, but you walked out and went, God damn it, I was fucking so hype on that for a minute. I'll start off. Mine might make me lose a little bit of this credit here, but only
What
because
credit, dude? What credit?
this credit. The
Okay.
shout out
Fair enough. Fair enough.
for the Chucky shirt. But
Fair
I remember back in the day, the day it was released, it was a Friday, I got dumped. I think I was like going into 7th grade, 6th grade, and my dad's like, hey, you know what'll cheer you up? Let's go see the new fucking Child's Play. Now, me growing up on Child's Play, one of the first horror movies I was ever introduced to, I expected pure, unadulterated horror. Obviously, with Bride of Chucky, when this came out, it was, you know, it had its horror elements, but it was a way different movie than we grew up on watching the Child's Play franchise. At that time, when I walked out, I was so upset and kind of disappointed.
I
because
understand
like
that.
our film, but over the years, you get the taste of it. You love the fucking the cues of it and everything about it. So it's
Now
like
you can look back and be like, oh, what they did was good, but at the
genius.
time, yeah, totally, I
Yeah,
get it.
because
Yeah,
you
I
watch Child's
understand
Play
that.
3, which I was a huge fan of, which isn't a
I
fucking
love
great
3.
movie in the least. You know what I
Three's
mean? It's
rad,
probably
though.
one of the weakest out of the franchise.
I'm very happy that you guys are finally talking about Child's Play. I feel like you guys haven't talked about Child Play
No,
enough. So I'm just glad we're here again.
Oh, I
Flyover
just
State of
want-
Film
we say
has
the
never
fucking
talked about
Village,
Child's
man.
Play.
Jesus Christ. Okay? The Village. Jusef, you go that smart mouth.
Yeah, it was kind of hard to think about one.
Cool. Hey, Brian, what do you got, dude?
Oh, okay. So I guess my easy answer, like the
Fucking
low hanging fruit, would be 98 Godzilla, right? Like I was super hyped
Like
to see
Father?
that. Even though Taco Bell spoiled the look of Godzilla for me, I was still excited. And then that was a big time bummer. But one I want a little bit later, this is like, I think it came out in maybe like 2003. Trailers looked decent. Had a new stars on the rise who'd been in some movies I like. Concept seemed dope. I'm talking about Van Helsing, right? I was like, okay, this looks tight. You got badass Hugh Jackman. He's got cool gadgets. You know, I was hot off of not realizing League of Extraordinary Gentlemen was bad. You mix up,
Yeah.
you got a lot of monsters mixed in there. I was in it, and then I'm sitting there watching it, and I was like, wow, oh wow.
Kind of like an introduction to Kate Beckinsale, right?
Yeah, is she in that one too? She is, isn't she?
She's
This
in
is,
that.
She's the
Yeah,
main-
is
she's
that
the main chick.
before Underworld though?
This is before Underworld, I think, or it's like right in that.
Underworld did
again,
not
this movie had a
disappoint.
blue hue, just like Underworld. You're just like
Underworld.
everything's blue.
Underworld slaps.
Yeah.
Van Helsing's one of those movies that, like, in that time where, you know, AIM was just hitting up with AOL. Like, I think there was like movies.com, and there was a guy called Mr. Movies that you could
Yo, movies.com was my shit. I read
like that was like the only thing you could find unless you're like a Cisco and
You got
Ebert
middle
thing,
school
like,
Joe in the library on the internet, just like clacking away at Mr. Movies.
Actually, you're right. Movies.com, I went for fucking everything. I
well, that's
read it
because
all.
like they cast the Avengers in the '90s type articles. It was like
You know-
Leo's and so and so.
You know who wrote for movies.com at that time? Like she was one of the
Chris Stuckman.
reporters. Was Gray Drake.
Oh yeah, I believe that.
Yeah, it makes sense actually.
There was a
But like
bald
those are the only
guy.
things where like, but like Van Helsing, this is after X-Men. It was
Yeah.
like 2002-ish, right?
Yeah, 2 or 3, I think. Yeah.
So like I was
Which,
just
by
in
the way,
high
the early
school.
2000s is a wasteland for movies. It's like the
Sure.
worst.
Good day.
Can I jump on the
Hey,
answer?
get on
of
in here,
this?
Joe. Slur your
I
way on
can't-
in here, buddy.
Sure. Wow, am I presenting?
No, you're good.
So
to go.
my
Come on.
pick, I grew up playing Final Fantasy. Like I was such a fucking huge fan of the Final Fantasy games. And the trailers for the Final Fantasy movie sold it as this like action packed, out of this world. The graphics looked
It was one
amazing.
of those 3D animated,
Yeah. And I came into this like expecting
I
this
remember that
over the
shit.
top anime movie, and suddenly it's like the most boring ass bullshit that I have ever seen in my fucking life. I was maybe 11 or 10 years old, and I knew that I was just wasting my time. I was like, I could be doing something better with my life right now than being at this theater. And I remember like looking to my right and my dad legit snoring in the theater with his feet up on the seat next because nobody was at the theater. Surprisingly, in
Right,
Puerto Rico,
shocker.
nobody wanted to see a Final Fantasy animated movie. It was like me and two other kids and my dad snorting in the fucking corner with his feet up against but yeah, that was like my top pick. And my honorable mention was Batman and Robin. Like
Oh yeah, sure.
like I was a huge
I
fan
begged
of,
to see that movie.
yeah, those the first two Batmans obviously I loved, and Batman Forever I loved even as a kid, but Batman and Robin, like even as a kid I was like, what the fuck is happening in this movie? So yeah, those two are
You
definitely.
could lie to yourself and tell yourself Forever was good, but there was no getting around Batman and
No,
Robin.
I mean, yeah. Now I can see that Forever sucked, but
All
as a
right.
kid, I was like, it wasn't that bad. It was
All
fine.
right. All right. Listen, I was young enough to be like, this is the best Batman movie they ever made. But for me, and I've mentioned this on the show before, but it was X3. I was so
Yeah,
fucking
that's fair.
hyped. And I know it's like it was hard to think before internet because it was younger. And I remember before internet, but I don't remember being disappointed by a movie.
well, yeah, you're talking about 2005, 2006. So like, unless you were plugged into movie
Yeah,
stuff,
and you
it
have,
wasn't
like,
as ubiquitous as it got. Like by the
Yeah,
time you
no,
get to
back,
like
yeah,
2008, 2010, it's really like
Okay.
starting to reach out.
yeah.
So
2005, 6 is more like Messenger. Like you get in
So
line to talk on Messenger.
Or like
So
you're like
mine-
getting a zine, like you're going to a website and you're getting signed up for their zine or whatever.
so my disappointment of this truly was and I was like I thought I was plugged into the internet, I should say. Like I was going to
MySpace.
movies.com every day in Joe Blow,
I was
right?
downloading shit off
Joe Blow,
LimeWire. I was going to movies.com.
But
Answer
not
or
like
die.
we are today. So X-Men 3, it truly like upset me. I remember my friends liked it, and I was like, no, that was bad. Like, I remember walking into but he stood like talking about Xavier. Like,
Yeah.
I was like, it wasn't good. Like, it was
I mean, that was a two hit. That year was tough because they did X3 and Spider-Man 3 was
Yeah.
like, bye-bye.
Yeah.
They
And
tore
us
That
up
was a
that
double
year.
kill.
one, yeah.
And it
Was
just
this before or after your Frasier like love?
fucking
Like when did you discover Frasier compared to these two? I'm sure they discovered it younger than you.
this year.
Yeah, I was gonna
Okay,
say, I
so
think
you
that was
didn't
just
really give a
quarantine.
shit that he
just
was playing
newly
the-
like got into Frasier. Yeah.
I didn't give a shit
Which is
about.
probably one of the best castings for a really shitty movie.
It's a good casting.
When they brought him back in Days of Future Past, that was like a legitimate stand up and cheer moment for me. I was
Yeah.
like, that's right, Kelsey Grammer's redeemed.
I
He was
did wanna
he
talk-
was an awesome beast.
Yeah.
honestly.
Yeah, it's a good casting of Beast.
That moment when he goes for the kid and his hand goes normal and those eyes, baby. Sorry, Joe.
I did want to give an
But
honorable
seriously though,
mention.
when he like really like does the whole like monkey thing off the wall and he kicks people in the ass, it's super tight. Go ahead. I'm my bad, Joe. I just
Dope.
can't. Like, dope.
Yeah, I get it. I did want to give an honorable
What
mention.
I like the more
Niall,
quiet moments
though,
when he's
as like
reading the book
Nightfall.
and he has the glasses and he's just like
Yeah. Sorry.
the salads and scrambled eggs.
I'm just making
Well, then
Chuck
again,
drink
yeah.
more so that he just.
Good night, everybody.
I hate you guys so much. So the other movie that
That's a great, speaking of superhero movies, that's the X franchise came right after Blade in like the late 90s. And I thought another great topic for today, since we're kind of talking about a
oh,
superhero.
fuck you guys.
Okay,
I wanted
all
to
right,
say what my
we don't
honorable
have to
mention
segue
was.
past. We can give your honorable mention now. Sorry, but that was too good. I couldn't. I'm
You
sorry.
could have just used the next topic as a callback, Joe. It's comic
Yeah.
movies.
No, I wanted to say another very big disappointment in my life was the movie Envy with Jack Black and Ben.
You've mentioned it already, Joe.
Oh, Envy? Did he? I remember this movie, but barely.
Remember that
Yeah.
you make that poop disappear?
You've
Yeah,
mentioned
I thought it
it.
was the funniest movie that was ever made.
I don't want to hear about it again, Joe.
I thought it was the funniest fucking movie they've ever put out in their life. And then I went to go see it, and I was upset.
Jeez, goddamn it! All right, Brian. So
Segway!
Yusef, when you
Fuck
cut
you
all
guys.
this, man, use Brian's segue and
Just cut out the part
yeah.
with Joe.
I got all control now, Joe. You're fucked.
I hate you guys.
All right, so who's going first?
Oh,
Brian,
yeah, so we're
you might
talking
have
about
to
the topic is superhero movies before like the golden age. Basically anything before Blade was kind of what I was thinking of. Now I know we had some hits in that era. Obviously, we had the Batmans, we had the Supermans, and those are still fair game. Those are everybody's favorites. We love them. But I was hoping we would talk a couple of. There's a couple that I've done in the bunker. There's a couple we've talked about on this very show. So there's got to be something that we got here.
I'll start.
But do you have to? Do you have to genuinely love them, or do you just want to
No,
talk?
I think
about
we could just have a discussion.
I
about
think
them. I don't
it's
care.
just a conversation, buddy.
Because I just want to have a
Well,
conversation about one of them, but I don't love
Jusef on Disney Plus.
it. Oh, yeah.
For the
I
listeners.
actually love this movie. I saw this at a young age, which doesn't make a lot of sense because if you go back and watch this movie, it's fucking NC-17, maybe a little bit more, but they're remaking it now with Peter Dinklage, which I don't know what they're gonna do, how it's gonna work, if it makes any sense at all. But Toxic Crusader, or to some, Toxic Avenger. They made an amazing cartoon off this in the 90s also, Saturday morning, with some of the best toys you'll ever see, which are actually, I think, remodels from Ninja Turtle villains that they was like, nah, we're not going to do that guy. Yeah, just use it for the show.
It's an R movie. It's a rated R movie. Like, there's tits in every scene.
It's crazy.
Tits. The scene in the restaurant where
It's
you
a
get
trauma
this
movie. I
introduction
mean,
to
it's
White
like
Knight
that's
Gang.
like the studio is known for being like wildly over the top and whatever.
Yeah, I mean, I think James Gunn was a part of like the production of this as like a young fucking kid growing up because this is like
You
all
directed Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah. So like there's like some of the most insane scenes ever where like there's a group of basically the whole premise of this is like a kid who gets picked on, falls into like a vat of acid, turns into this giant hulking creature who's also super ugly, but lives in like a swamp or
He's like a less cute version of
junkyard.
Sloth from Goonies.
Yeah.
He's from Jersey, though.
But it's so fucked up because like there's like the people in the show are just like or the villains and the gangs are like there's like these three where it's like a dude and like three chicks.
Marissa Tomei's in it.
Yeah, who have a game about running people over and like you hit a kid who has a helmet.
It's
Like,
so
that
fucked
sounds
up when they like
more
try to run
points.
over that kid. Yeah.
Yeah, and then like the whole like scene where they're deep frying people's heads and shit like that. The Toxic Avenger, like when he murders people, he fucking murders them. But then there's like this like he's a man of the people and like pollution's bad. Like there's this weird undertone to it. But I'm excited to see what they do with it in the future. Well, what's coming up now because I know Dinklage and like some other big actors attached to it now too.
I want Peter Dinklage to be the Toxic Avenger.
I would assume that's the way they're gonna go. They're gonna make
but
some,
him like in makeup, like don't
stilts?
make him. No, just him.
Just
like
him.
His size. Just in makeup.
They did that with a leprechaun. You know, it's kind of like the same thing almost.
No, but he's not the Toxic Avenger.
Yeah.
So my pick was the Phantom.
Billy Zane's back, baby.
Fucking love that
I remember
movie.
going to the theater.
Honestly, I loved that movie as a kid. The costume, purple, the skull ring.
He had the weird magic dagger in that one, right? Or was that the shadow? I can't remember.
I get that and Shadow mixed up a lot.
I remember going to the movie
He has a ring. He has a ring with a skull and it shoots a laser. He has 2 guns. And he has a horse. That's his entire getup.
I love how he wears purple in the jungle. That's rad.
Yeah, because that's how you camouflage yourself. Nobody will see that fucking superhero crawling through the jungle in his purple leotard.
That's all I remember from that movie. We went to the theaters to see it too.
I love that movie, honestly, and I watched it as an adult, and the nostalgia really held up. But I was like, "Whoa, this movie sucks."
Yeah, I didn't watch it that much, but I kind of liked the concept of the Shadow, and like I liked the aesthetic of that movie, but I didn't watch it a ton. But I bet it does not hold up much better.
But the Phantom supposedly has like a legit good graphic novel series. Like it's very gritty and bloody.
Can I ask a question? Was Jennifer Connelly also? Was Jennifer Connelly also in this movie?
No.
Oh. Then my memory is fucked.
No surprise there.
Jennifer Connelly's a babe. Anyway,
Yeah, that's part of the.
Who else?
Rock.
Who else? Who else? Who got
I'll go.
Joe,
I'll
you go ahead.
I'll
We'll like work our way through your part, and then maybe we'll see how much time we have left.
Wow, I hate you guys. I thought I'd been okay. My pick, always a favorite as a kid of this era, The Mask.
It's
Final
Christy
The Mask.
Swanson from Buffy. That's
Oh,
the
Saga
chick in
Queen,
the Phantom.
Christy Swanson.
Oh, okay, that doesn't track.
but isn't the mask like the Phantom? Like supposedly the comic book's like super gritty and dark.
Yeah, so The
Really,
Mask
no,
is a
it's
very
Catherine
like.
Zeta-Jones. Sorry, it's
No, it's not. It's Cameron Diaz in The Mask, actually.
Catherine
I
Zeta-Jones.
fucking hate all of you. The Mask is. Yeah,
James Remmer is the bad guy in the Phantom.
so in The Mask, Jim Carrey plays a fucking guy who tries to have sex with
The
Cameron
Mask
Diaz.
always reminded me of Tank Girl too. Tank Girl like had very Mask vibes.
He's like, I'll put my jeans back on.
Oh, I see what this episode is. Just continue with your pick. I picked The Mask, all right?
No, Joe, continue telling us about the movie The Mask that everyone in the fucking world has seen.
Yeah, everyone's seen it. I thought it was a fun movie. I didn't know it was a comic book when I was a kid, and I realized it was a dark movie.
It's a
I
really
actually
love-
never liked The Mask. I'm not a fan. Like that Jim Carrey era, like it did not hit with me. Like I liked him on In Living Color, and then like majority of the stuff he put out in that early stage. It wasn't until like Truman Show that I started to like do movies that I actually liked.
What after the Truman Show?
Hmm?
Ryan just
Oh,
pompous.
Mickey?
That's what happened.
I was like, what movie after the Truman Show did Jim Carrey do that was good? Fucking Bruce
Yeah,
Almighty.
Man from the
Yes.
Moon.
Fair. Hey, no, you know what? That's fair. Eternal
Man on
Sunshine
the
of the
Moon.
Spotless Mind. That's
Me,
the whole
Myself,
thing
and
together.
Irene.
Eternal Sunshine of the Mind, yeah. Number 23.
Yeah, I do like Me, Myself, and Irene. I think it's better than
I
Dumb and
get
Dumber.
it. I get
That's a
it.
great
This is
movie.
an episode that just cuts me out completely. I get it.
What are you talking about, man? We're trying to.
I was gonna say you're the core of the episode. Like, what are you talking about? You're complaining about being the focus of the episode.
You're the entire reason we keep rolling.
I
Brian, what
I-
this was your topic. What did
Well, I didn't even talk about The Mask. I didn't even get the fucking word about it.
Well, are you gonna pout and give up, or you don't want to talk about it?
I would love to talk about The Mask.
Go for it.
Well, come on, let's hear. What do you have to
Jesus
say?
Christ. That villain with his face and all the
He
fucking
looks like
makeup
the
effects.
Republican that got in trouble. Gertz.
That Gates.
Yeah.
He looks like the villain from the Rocketeer, the dude with the big Frankenstein
Yeah.
face. Only his face is green.
It's great. That movie, when he showed up to the chop shop and he fucking spun around, or did the
for an
thing-
overhaul.
Yeah. Or did the thing with the cops in the center and did the senorita shit. Amazing. It got me every time as a kid. That was so comic booky.
Yeah, he raped the guys in the chop shop and then he sexually harasses the cop woman. This is awesome. Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah.
Hey. Take that
World
back.
icon, The Mask.
The mask.
I don't know. I just like the movie, all right?
Do you want to know a fun fact? In the movie
love
A
to.
Gnome Named Norm, where they do the first drug deal, it's the same set they did the Mask playground drug deal where he does the whole da 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 beats. I'm the king of my beats. Same set.
Oh, that's very nice.
I
Apparently,
made that up.
no one cares.
Oh.
Episode.
Show's
This
terrible.
episode, huh? Brian, what was your pick?
Yeah, well, I mean, I think obviously anybody who knows me knows I want to say The Crow, because that's like just one of my favorite superhero movies. But also the Punisher, the Dolph Lundgren Punisher, is like it's like wants to be a Michael Mann movie. Like it thinks it's Manhunter, but it's like trying to be all like gritty and
Who's the
like
villain? Is it like a comic book villain or just like some no name?
I can't remember if who the villain is. You know what? I should go
Yeah, I've
back
never
and
seen
watch the DVD Bunker episode that I did about it. That would probably be a great way to get a reminder.
That's great. That's a great
I'm
idea,
gonna
Brian.
edit the fuck out of you there now.
But in all
Dude,
seriousness,
Joe,
I
if
do
you've
like
never seen it, you should watch it just for the naked meditation scene
Oh,
in the.
good.
Yeah.
Lundgren's naked?
Oh yeah,
Is it like a butt
Is
shot,
that a
probably?
Baker Lundgren?
Bob shot,
Oh, I'm in.
crack shot.
But also, if one that I don't think we've ever talked about on the show before, and that I've never talked about on any of my previous shows, Darkman, right? Darkman's dope.
We've talked
Sam
about
Raimi kind of like doing the comic book thing before
Well,
Spider-Man getting his chops in or whatever.
Darkman's amazing. Liam
I never
Neeson-
really saw much of the sequels. I was more just like,
I've never
one
seen
Darkman's fine.
but
I saw the
Liam
second one and I
Neeson
didn't like
owns
it
that
at all. I
shit.
never explored more.
All right, some honorable mentions.
Wait, what
Batman
about TJ? Did
Returns.
TJ go?
I
Yeah.
did go.
Okay, I just want to make sure everybody talked.
Toxic
Black
Avenger,
Man.
he said.
Everyone
That's
loves
right.
Blank Man.
What was your honorable
Blank
mention?
Man. Yeah, Blank Man.
I said Batman Returns to be legitimate.
Oh wait, yeah, Batman's are just a slam dunk.
Howard
Can
the
I say
Duck.
that I don't like the Christopher Reeve Superman movies? We're talking about old comic book movies.
Let's go, Brian. I'm with you on
Well,
this
I like
one.
the
never-
first one.
They just never did it for me. It's like
It's not
probably the
I
way
like the first
TJ
one.
feels about the Sam Raimi Spider-Mans. I'm just like, nope, this isn't for me. I don't
Yeah.
like it.
I like the first ones. The rest I
Never
can
watched
I can do without.
They're not like the
They're not
soundtrack's good.
horrible, but it's like, oh, thank you.
Well, the first one's not
The
bad.
Mario
It's just not
movies.
great.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Super
I mean,
not.
like, I'm
Mario
sure if
Bros.
I'd have seen them as a small child, or if I'd have seen them when they
100%.
came out, I'd be into it. But like, I never, like, my parents weren't into it, so I never watched them. And by the time I got to them, I was like, too late. Just too late for me.
Yeah.
It's never too late. It's never too late to go to a game with our drunk buddy Joe.
This is gonna be a blast. I can't wait for this.
Joe, you have the power now. Nobody can interrupt you.
All right, guys.
Get the
If we
floor.
do, he'll take away a point.
All right. So
Guys, you take a fire. I gotta take a shit.
All right.
No, I'm just kidding.
You think you can't be interrupted? You know you can.
I created a game based off of previous episodes, right?
Ooh.
So they're descriptions of what I remember from the episode or from what I remember of the movie. Just to give you guys a bit. So it's a little mix and match.
But what are we guessing? The movie?
We're guessing.
You're
it's a
guessing the movie.
and it's a movie we've watched for Flyover.
It's a Flyover. It's a Flyover State of Film game. Released to the home box office this year. Everyone will get this year. We'll
Sign
make
up
cards.
for Flyover Plus, and we'll send you a copy of our game and a couple shirts.
Yeah, Steph.
Sign up for 2
Steph,
years. We promise
Ryan.
we'll last that long.
Yeah.
Steph, Ryan, Harrison, you all get your game.
Harrison, any friends you get to watch this in high school? Those you get the well.
That's right. It's
no.
like a pyramid scheme. You will
Yeah,
get.
they won't get a shirt, but like you will give you credit for getting them to watch.
All right. So let me just get my pad out.
So wait, are you
So-
gonna say something specifically and everybody guesses?
I'm gonna read a sentence that I wrote, and once I finish the sentence, when someone guesses, like as
But say name that movie. That way we know you finished talking.
Okay, I will say name that movie. Thank you.
Okay, cool.
Good idea.
All right.
Tendency to
So
ramble.
one, I've never rambled in my life. All right, 1, 2, 3. I guess this
Actually, real quick, what were the rules again?
I fucking hate you. You guys, are we good?
Yeah, we're good.
Get that out of your system. I get.
This is my favorite episode. Go ahead, Joe.
All right, 1, 2, 3. I guess this is kind of like the Karate Kid.
Jusef. Well, you didn't say name that movie, but you stopped talking, so I'm guessing.
I'm sorry, name that movie.
I was waiting for
Sidekicks.
that movie.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay,
I should know
alright.
that. That was mine.
I didn't remember we watched Sidekicks. Okay,
Shut
cool,
up.
cool.
How could you
All
forget
right,
that?
I will say name that movie this time, right?
All right.
All right.
1, 2, 3. Once again, someone died.
Oh,
What was the original movie
good
pick?
point. Good
for the
point.
schn-
Good point. Good
Hold
point.
on,
Joe.
you have to go again. We got a little good point
Yeah,
Joe
you
going
gotta go
on.
again. Sorry, we didn't hear you.
That's
Sorry.
real. That was real though. That was a real.
That was real. Yeah,
100%,
this was not a bit.
All right. Once again, someone died on my recording. But what was the original movie picked for the Schnapp episode? Hint. Tyrion Lannister shows up at his secret lover's wake. Name that movie.
Jusef,
TJ. Fuck.
Yusuf.
Death at a Funeral.
Damn it.
Yep.
That was way back. That was like episode 3 or something.
It was
It was
episode
like 5.
2. It's episode 2.
Oh.
Bobby Rayburn was past his prime and should have never signed that deal. Gil was totally justified. Name that movie.
Brian,
Yes.
the fan.
Yep.
Ah, I knew it.
Shit. What
I
number
was
did
like,
you wear?
that name is
11?
familiar.
I don't remember. I don't even write the numbers, but it was like 20 maybe or 11.
No, I mean like the number that he wanted to wear that eventually Robert De Niro cuts off of Benicio. It's like 11 or some shit like that.
I don't remember, but
It's
you're
tough.
right.
Yeah.
You're pissed about. We're gonna watch that when we hang out.
Yeah, hell yeah.
All right. Question 4. I can't believe I didn't get the invite to Star Wars. Ridiculous. Don't you know who I am? Anyway, guess we'll talk about the desert slugs.
Brian.
Jusef, but
Fuck.
you didn't say name that movie. I was waiting for you to say name that movie.
No, it's
Fuck.
Brian. It's Tremors.
Yes, it
Tremors.
is.
Is that the Christian Harloff when he was so fucking pissed off?
Yeah.
Fucking bitch. I
I'm
mean,
sorry, I forget to
I'm
say the
editing
name of that
out.
movie. I forget to say the name of that movie. I thought I gave a good enough description.
You did,
Your
but I
pause-
was waiting for the
pauses are
name of
good.
that movie. I knew it as
Yeah.
soon as you said that bitching rant because that's one of my favorite thumbnails ever.
All right. All right, so we're on 5. All I remember is this is the legit truth. All I remember is Willem Dafoe and something about Dora being hot from the episode. Name that movie.
Brian.
Yeah.
Streets of Fire.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one, yeah. Who said Dora was hot? Was it me?
I don't know.
Some
I just like
some
I just like the
some
thumbnail.
pervert on the internet.
Probably all
Okay,
did.
good.
We were all good in
Critic.
consensus about it.
There was a critic talking about her hormones.
And we all agreed
Yeah.
with them, I think.
Question 6. They shouldn't have sex. Really, please don't. Name that
TJ.
movie.
Fuck.
Jusef,
TJ.
Yeah, I think
you didn't say name that movie.
We've
don't
been
like-
very
I
loose
don't like
to name
Trump
that
show.
movie. We've been very loose with that.
Slice?
All right. You were right, Yusuf.
No, TJ, go ahead.
TJ did it. Splice.
Slice?
No, I got
TJ.
it. Harold and Maude.
Yeah.
Oh,
Uh,
yeah.
I think
Brian-
the sex and Splice is much more offensive than the sex and
Yeah.
Brian and Yusuf are tied.
Multiple rapings.
All right. Question 7. How many times is it okay to call someone a bundle of sticks in 2021? Name that movie.
Brian.
Yes.
Monster Squad.
Yep.
Oh, I don't know.
Damn.
I honestly forgot we watched that movie.
That's one of my favorite thumbnails with all of us as the monsters.
Yeah, that's a good one.
Oh yeah.
All right. Question 8. All right. Do you guys remember Pulp Fiction? Let's do that, but not at all. And it'll have Marky Mark. I don't remember a frame of this feature film. Name
Brian.
it.
Jusef.
Yusuf.
He didn't
Big
say
hit.
name that movie.
I don't know.
I did.
The big hit.
That movie.
No, you didn't.
He was saying it.
Hit.
It's the
Yeah,
big
big
hit.
hit.
He's right. He's right.
It is a big hit.
God damn it.
All right, so you and Brian are tied.
I almost said lucky number 11.
That's what I said before that's what I was thinking before Marky Mark. When he said
Yeah,
Marky Mark, that's what helped me nail it in.
All right, so 9. And please wait till I say name that movie, okay?
All
This
right,
one
fine.
for 9, the
Remember to
tiebreaker.
say it.
I can't forgive TJ for this one. Name that movie.
Jusef.
Yes.
Good Norm, name Norm.
Absolutely.
I was gonna say Howard the Duck.
No, I just bought that shit on Steelbook.
Let's go.
TJ's my dude. I bought a duck in his honor on Steelbook.
That's right, baby.
But a No Name Norn is not my dude, and that was the case. Did you guys have fun with that game?
That was
Oh,
a
yeah.
great game. Absolutely.
It's a fun game. You feel better? You got to talk. Nobody interrupted you. See?
It's
We love
fine. I told you I'm drunk. It's fine.
All right, so we are moving on to. So, on the last episode, if you saw us, I had 3 random piece of papers. All 3 movies were movies I've never seen before. Joe won the toss-up. He picked The Rocketeer, 1991 Disney movie. Joe Justin directed, starring Billy Campbell, Jennifer Connelly, Alan Arkin, Timothy Dalton, among other actors, including a wasted and young Margot Martindale.
Oh yeah.
And it's
Alan Arkin.
unofficial superhero movies of the early 90s. It could have been picked for that question that Brian asked, in theory. So just one of those movies that people constantly talk about or refer to, or at least mention every now and again as a cult classic or as one of those touchstones in their childhood. And I've just never gotten around to watching it, and I thought, you know what, fuck it, let's just do it. Was this the first time watch for any of you, or was it just
Yeah,
a first time watch for
it was
me?
the first time watch for me. I thought I'd seen it before, but I didn't.
First time watch since like it came out, and I was a
same.
child, so
So first time
First
watch.
first time watch basically. Yeah.
How about you, TJ?
Yeah, since I was a kid, this is like a movie you got with, like Pizza Hut pizza back in the day, just like a free fucking VHS. I can see why. But we can go, you know.
All right, so that's good. So it's pretty much everybody got fresh eyes on this movie. The story centers around this pilot for trade. He's essentially like a trick pilot, a race pilot,
stunt pilot, some
Stunt
kind
pilot.
of something.
Yeah.
Wears a clown suit.
Yeah, he's just like trying to survive, and he's good at riding planes. They got this brand new plane that is supposed to win nationals, whatever the fuck that means. They don't never explain what nationals is for planes. And
The national trick planing.
Yeah, I just thought it was
Yeah.
like a trick plane.
nationals. It's just
Although,
nationals.
although I
Spots
I
variable.
laughed hysterically at the little fucking tube he was in.
Yeah.
It was just his head in a fucking box. I was like, no
Yeah.
way an airflow in that.
Yeah.
So he's flying over some cornfields, and there are criminals being chased by the FBI. His plane gets shot down. The criminals hide a rocket pack in their airplane field, hangar base, whatever you want to call it. They end up with that rocket backpack, and him and his mechanic decide to modify it and create kind of a suit for him that he essentially becomes a Rocketeer. Now that suit is being coveted over by this Nazi spy played by Timothy Dalton, and Timothy was
It's not revealed that he's a Nazi till the very end, though. I mean,
but
you know
it's
he's a
some, like,
bad. You know he's a bad guy.
power
And he's a
hungry actor.
scumbag, and
Yeah.
he's trying to get a hold of this. But like they hold
well,
off on. Like I
according
knew
to
that's
Disney,
one thing about the movie that I knew was that Timothy Dalton was a Nazi, and I was shocked how long they waited to drop it.
well, according to Disney, where I watched it at Disney Plus, that is literally in the description. So
Oh,
I guess Disney Plus ain't fucking around with cliffhangers or.
Like, they
That's
don't
dumb.
care about the pacing of the movie at all or anything.
that's dumb. That was a
Um,
big reveal.
yeah, so Timothy is the bad guy, and he wants it back, and essentially they just fight over the rocket.
He's
and
basically Errol Flynn, kind of.
Yeah.
You got actual Howard Hughes in the movie. He's the
Yeah,
guy
I
who's
was
supposed to
Howard
create the
Hughes.
Tony
rocket
Stark.
pack. Yeah.
well,
Yeah, I was
Yeah,
literally
because
thinking.
so Howard
I
Stark's
was
based on Howard Hughes.
yeah.
literally thinking before they said Howard Hughes. I was like, that's like a Howard Stark because I'm watching all the Marvel movies, so it's fresh in my mind.
Well, and also this movie does feel like a little bit Iron Man and a little bit Captain America. It does. It makes sense because the guy who directed The
to an
Rocketeer
extent,
directed first
Rock-
Avenger. So I mean,
Yeah.
it stands to
Yeah.
reason.
It makes
Little
sense. Like
Ant-Man-ness too, and then
Yeah, sure. He's got his little.
it's crazy, actually. Like so many years later, they're like, "Oh, we want you to make the same movie as Captain America."
Yeah, kind of.
Made.
no. Well, I mean, the one thing I will give Joe Johnston, who also directed Home Alone, and a couple just like he
Oh, Home
makes.
Alone 3,
No,
right?
no, that's Chris Columbus directed Home
No,
Alone.
he made 3. Home
Oh,
Alone.
yeah, he made the third
Oh,
one,
Home Alone 3. Okay.
which I actually saw in theaters, and other than not having Macaulay Culkin, just has a good like feel to it. I feel like Joe Johnston has a really good feel of just like those moments, like when Captain America jumps on the grenade, or even like when he first puts on the suit to go save the dude who's trying to save his job, and the clown shoe's just puttering away in the plane, which is cool because there's parts in this movie to where like who is the Dustin Hoffman-ish his like mechanic guy.
Alan
Arkin.
Arkin.
Probably my favorite
Peabody.
character in this movie.
Oh,
Weird
he's
to
a great actor.
Yeah,
Weird
well,
to
I know. I should know his name. I've seen it on a bunch of shit. Just in my head, like if Dustin Hoffman played that same role, I'd be like, oh, that makes sense. But there's
Weird
that
to
one
see
moment
young
he
Alan
gets in,
Arkin,
like,
by the way.
yeah, when he gets in the GB and he puts his gum on the fin, and he's like, oh yeah, that gum's really gonna keep you up in the air, keep the weighted down. Then he pulls it off, and like later use that for his rocket pack. I wish they would like go back and show like he did that before and it helped him out at some point. When they just kind of like it's a throwaway, then it's not a throwaway. It's like a weird like callback.
I thought it
Oh,
helped
like-
him out in. I thought it helped him out.
Yeah, at one point with the rocket pack when he gets
Well, yeah, it
shot.
starts out as a thing for good luck, and then they actually use it to plug the hole, and then
Yeah.
it becomes a. I mean, it has a pretty good little arc. The gum has a pretty good little
Yeah,
arc.
and the gum has a better arc than many characters in this movie. But it has this wholesome quality to it, especially between Alan Arkin and the pilot. I'm blanking on his name. Can somebody help me out with his name?
Some
Cliff
Cliff.
C something Seaborough.
Yeah,
Cliff,
so
it's Cliff.
Cliff and him have such a good
Cliff Clavin.
relationship. And
But speaking of him being forgettable, I think it's kind of it's a point of thing like. Aside from you had Harrison Ford, obviously, like as Indiana Jones, who brought that kind of 40 serial vibe back in the 80s, and then like everyone tried, and aside from Brendan Fraser and The Mummy, they could never nail it. They never quite got. Even we're watching this. Me and Harrison are watching The Rocketeer, and he's like, he reminds me of the guy from The Mummy. I was like, yeah, they got close. They got close.
Yep.
Brendan Fraser was just a little too young. He would have been the Rocketeer.
So
had that note
TJ,
that my note said like this movie would be so much better if Brendan Fraser was the lead. 100%.
absolutely.
But like so many movies tried to hit that like that Indiana Jones mark, and nobody could quite get it. You know, the like 40s style hero. And they kept trying, and this is like I said, this isn't bad, and I think the guy whoever plays Cliff, who's unfortunately, I mean, he's a working actor still to this day. He's just not a name that I remember.
He's like the bad guy. He's the bad guy.
He's good in this though.
So
like
I
he's
think-
solid. Like
He's a bad guy enough.
Yeah, he
So
is.
I think
He's like the abusive husband of Jennifer Lopez in Enough. That's where I know him.
So I think TJ,
you know all Jennifer Lopez movies, you racist.
Yeah.
is-
I love, but even though Cliff is forgettable, like TJ said, Alan Arkin is awesome. But another actor that really eats up this role is Timothy Dalton. Like he's such a good bad guy. Like his introduction, where he's just so disheveled and sweaty and out of control. It's such a great introduction to the character. But he becomes like this suave actor that he's just like manipulating everybody. And it got to the point that I kind of hoped that he was the giant in disguise. I don't know why.
Yeah.
When they
like the
showed
giant
it-
would peel off his face, and it would be
and
that
it was
guy.
him.
Uh,
And
That
there's a
makeup
moment
job is
that
distracting.
I literally laughed so fucking hard in this movie, and it was when he crushes the dude, right? And then in the hospital, and he goes outside, and they show his feet, and he scurries away.
He shuffles. I also had an audible laugh when they show his giant hand grab the tiny doorknob. I was like, That's really funny. Like that's an insert shot they didn't need to do, but I'm glad they did it.
And I actually I was looking information as to who that guy is, and he played Officer Hal on all the Naked Gun movies where they just show his pecs, and Leslie talks to him like, "Hey, Hal," and that's them in all the movies. But yeah,
So TJ in our chat hit this movie right though. Actually, this was just on the heels of Dick Tracy.
And this guy made me. I think the villains. Why I think
The
that 'cause they
villains,
had like
yeah,
mush
He
face.
looks the makeup job very reminiscent of Dick
It's
Tracy.
Dick Tracy.
So I was like, there's when I saw him, like that's why I fucking thought this was Dick Tracy because this big old idiot. Yeah, Joe, that's genius. Yeah.
Yeah. So you texted us that, right? And I thought to myself, I'm like, I got the same vibes, like even with the one guy, but like it's the same. Like, hey, I'm a 1950s guy in 1990. Like, what are you doing, toots? Like, it was the whole vibe. Like,
I'm gonna order some food, but first, how about some pie? You want some pie? I don't like the music. And just start shooting
Like-
shit in the fucking restaurant.
I will say this though, Jennifer Connelly
Oof.
stole the movie.
2 for 2.
They were
with,
like, you don't want to lose her, and you're like, yeah, you don't want to lose
no,
her.
you don't want to lose her.
I
2
was
for 2,
worried they were
2
kind of like gonna do more of a two. Like I was watching a movie and it's from the 90s, pretending to be the 40s. So I'm like, they're gonna really damsel her out, and they didn't. They made her smart. They made her on top of things.
No,
like,
she
and I like
was
that.
2 for 2, knocking out people with stuff over the head,
Mhm.
and 1 for 1, murdering Nazis outside of a blimp.
No,
Sorry.
no, but
So,
I'll
she had
say
a good track.
this. I will say this though, they didn't do that, but at the same time, I guess this is the movie's fault. Like when the scene with her and Timothy Dalton and the rapey scene, I was very nervous for her.
Oh
I
sure,
was
yeah.
like, this
Oh
is
yeah,
wrong.
but her calling him out on the lines that he was saying. There's an episode on Friends that they do exactly the same thing. Like Joey's trying to seduce a woman that is a fan of his show, and every time he's like, "Oh, your eyes are like the color of blah blah," and she's like, "Wait, that's from episode 5 of season 2." He's like,
Is that Brooke Shields, the obsessed fan?
Yes,
Yeah.
Yeah.
Classic.
It's like I tweeted out, guys, this is a wholesome movie. Like
Yeah,
it feels very like that was nice.
It felt
We
like
don't-
eating cereal with cold milk. Like it was just comfortable and refreshing, but it really wasn't like a full meal. Like you
And
know,
also, you're gonna wake up at 3 a.m. and shit your pants on the
yeah.
toilet.
Like
Like,
we're
you
all
wanted
fans of
something
my
else.
wife. We're all fans of my wife in this show. Like she didn't watch
my
it. She was like reading a book, and I was like, I think you'll like this movie. I haven't seen it, but I think you'll like this movie. And she's like, sure. And eventually she picked up and she's like, I'm not sure I like that. And I was like, you didn't watch it. Like, you picked up on the tones of what you thought. You think it's like 50 years old. You'll probably like it if you watched it.
Laura walks across the back of the screen with a black eye.
I like the movie.
He's got
The
big
movie.
sunglasses
Fucking
on.
wow.
Like,
It was cool. I was like, oh, because it's like in like 1938 Los Angeles, which is tight. But like when she leaves him in the restaurant, which I don't understand why. It seems like it's a restaurant in Alabama where she gets a thing flown in the soup and it hits her blouse, and then she gets on
That
a
scene
public
was
But then the cool shit when he goes up in the first ride with the Rocketeer thing, and he goes up and he goes next to that plane that's supposed to be like a plane that carried people back in the fucking 30s and 40s and shit like that. And like the steward just hanging out the window. It's like, I mean, I'm sure it's not completely accurate, but it's like cool to see shit like that and how they're able to like make it look so fucking.
So,
old.
so TJ, I have a question. Was this movie supposed to be, maybe Brian or Yusuf knows this, was this movie supposed to be, like, followed up with him actually knowing what the fuck he's doing?
do you
movie?
think like this is obviously an origin? Do you think
Yeah,
do
I
you think they
think
were
it
gonna
was
planning
an
on
origin. Yeah.
sequels? They're gonna
Because it didn't even-
sequelize the Rocketeer.
Yeah, because the whole movie
technically
was
it was a
like,
bomb.
oh, I'm funny. from a
But they don't really
super-
like use like because back in the day you can't really. I mean, this would be a good topic for another episode if we can just kind of. But like, think about movies before like the Marvel way of doing things. A lot of things or I mean, I guess some did. They'd be like, so and so will be back in another one, but like they even did it in Macamee. But like, there weren't a lot of movies that did Easter eggs or promised sequels. It'd be like something had success and someone goes, "What if we did a second one of that?" You know what I
I'm
mean?
sure if The Rocketeer would have been successful, they would have made
Was it?
another one, but it wasn't, and I bet
I
they
was
didn't
gonna say, like,
plan
wasn't
on it. They were just like, they probably didn't
No,
have a
it was
second idea.
yeah, it was an office bomb. Like the second idea was like woven in when she like gives him the schematic. So you
Yeah, at
know
the
that
end,
he's gonna do it again. He's
yeah.
gonna
Would
have
you?
his stuff.
Well, I think another thing that hurts.
So that's
the
my
entire program,
question.
too, is like, what year was this made? Like 91.
91.
91, I think
91.
it came out.
Just think about like as the
Well,
years go
it,
by.
it, it's 30 years old this
Yeah,
year.
to make a
So.
period piece where you have to go back probably costs 20 times more money than making something where you can use live
But the
sets.
sets were very limited.
Yeah, it's like in a
So I
country.
don't think it would have been that expensive to do. But something that I wanted to touch on, like you mentioned the soup scene and all that stuff. I could not fucking stop laughing at the fact that the singer of the club is Jan Levinson.
Oh, one
And
night.
just kept
It's just
imagining.
You're thinking about
Wait,
Jasmine
really?
Wynn's song? She
And
called
when
me
I
Jasmine Wynn song.
I just kept thinking about Jan.
I
It's
could not.
one
I could not
The
night.
think past Jan.
the bomb is under the stadium.
Like,
Oh,
like
I didn't even, honestly, I didn't even recognize her. That's hilarious.
I didn't
No,
get it.
Oh
No,
my god!
I catch
They
Fargo.
showed
well, they had her
Jan-
like her hair's really slicked down, and like they got a lot of eye
recognize her.
makeup on. She's real 20s-y.
I
Plus,
re-
she was
I-
young. She was super young.
No, I recognized her instantly, and I looked at Laura and I said, "That's Jan from The Office," and I was like, the fucking.
pipes?
I immediately thought of the song. Every time I see that woman, I think of One Night.
The Hunted.
Yeah. Oh man, hysterical. And Margot Martindale. Let's give a shout out to Margot.
Yeah,
Martindale.
shout out
Well,
Margot.
absolutely. There's
She's
a lot, like I said,
national treasure.
tons of character actors in this popping up for sure.
Yeah. Who even like the dude who like who gets murdered and folded up? Who I guess
Joe
ran
Polito.
Bigelow?
That's Joe
Yeah,
Polito.
Joe Polito. And then you had fucking Paulie from fucking
Yeah, Paul
Goodfellas
Sorvino,
showing
absolutely.
up.
Well, this
I
was
love
a
Oh
the turn.
yeah,
I love
Monsters.
the way he gets Paul Sorvino to turn on the because he's like, I may be a crook, but I'm not a Nazi.
I'm
He's
not a
like,
Nazi supporter.
so
Yeah.
good.
Mobsters are
This
notoriously patriotic. Like they do not go
this
That's a
outside
real
of
thing.
America.
The mob 100% like watched the ports during World War II and stuff. Like,
Yeah.
this was a prequel to his character in Goodfellas. This
But
was Cicero.
by that, Paul Cicero.
He
I-
was
I
like,
feel like
well,
there
we
wasn't
got our
many.
hands dirty.
There wasn't a lot of juice on this fruit, but we got something out of it. So how about we go into the ratings?
Ratings phase.
Joe, what are you giving this movie?
Yeah, I had a lot of fun. I had a lot of fun with this. Like Polly from Goodfellas, I sliced the garlic thin. I give this 6.8 notes in a soup. I had a lot of fun.
Yeah, he did leave a note in so that's right. Brian, where are you going?
Yeah, I'm writing that same. I think I'd give this about a 6. It's just like a solid, straightforward, kind of like good Disney movie. Nothing too flashy, but like a little bit better than average. I think 6 is right in the wheelhouse. 6 pieces of gum that had a character arc.
Yeah. I'm gonna go next. That way TJ can close off and give us his movie for next episode.
Man, that's a TJ week. Guys.
Yeah, I think
we know
it
it will
was
be anything that you can find on HBO Max, right?
I love it. I love it, TJ. Guys, if you're not listening, you don't like me, I like a TJ week.
Brian, HBO Max will be back tomorrow. Don't worry.
Woo!
I don't know. Don't hold your breath. You never know, man. Life is wild. So Yeah, I think it was a risk on my end to pick a movie that I've never seen in my life, but I literally picked a wet blanket. Like it was just a wet napkin, maybe. I don't know. What's the saying? Yeah, it was safe choice, and in the end, it was harmless. It just washed over me, and
Thankfully,
nothing.
this episode had a lot of other fun bits that'll
Yeah,
carry it. You know.
Joe really carried this episode, and we are very thankful for him. Um,
For real.
Hey,
yeah, it
real
was a.
quick before you give your review of this, what did you think of Flight of the Navigator?
I love the Flight of Night. I wished I picked the Flight of Night Magazine.
It
Well,
was
that's
It's
the
so
next
good.
movie
so
pick.
original.
So good.
It's
Should
so good. It's so funny and
You got
it's
the
so.
time travel element and
Oh,
stuff. It's
I
Pee
love
Wee
it.
Yusuf,
Herman as the
Good.
voice of
Yusuf,
the
can I
ship.
just ask Yusuf one question? Should I watch it?
Yes, 100% watch it. It's so much fun.
It recommends me.
It has a lot of. It has a lot of like it's clearly a kids movie, and there's some nostalgia that probably other people would you know glaze over
I
some
grew up
elements.
with it,
But
and it
I
feels like
had
one
a
of those
lot
movies
of fun.
that nobody else but me has ever seen. And I always talk about it. I love Flight of the Navigator. It's so fun.
It's very good, and Pee Wee Herman is the voice of the ship, and he's funny.
Compliance.
Oh, really?
Compliance. Yeah, it's good. I give Flight of the Navigator 8 out of 10, and this one I agree a 6. 6. Jennifer Connelly murdering blimp pilots.
Sure,
Uh,
sure, sure, sure.
TJ.
I had fun with this. I
Oh,
haven't seen this.
Timothy Dalton has a fantastic death too. We didn't mention that.
Yeah,
We
that
didn't
is a good
actually
death.
really.
Such a good
Can
death.
I
We
just
talked
before
about the payoff of the
Hey,
gum, but we
hey,
didn't. That's
TJ,
actually what leads to the
Yeah,
great death for Timothy Dalton.
Hey
great death.
TJ, before you start, we didn't really talk about Timothy Dalton. I just want to mention really quick. He surprised the hell out of me, especially from coming from Bond. Like I thought his villain, he was just devious and fun, and I was like, oh
Hot
shit, T.
Buzz.
Yeah.
I
Yeah,
thought,
well, in Hot Fuzz, but like, you guys know I all watched the Bonds last year. Uh, and
what?
I was
No,
like,
you've never mentioned that before.
I was like, oh shit, T. Dots, you doing your thing. Anyway, TJ, you do you.
I'm gonna give. I haven't seen this in a while. I did get this confused with Dick Tracy a lot as a kid growing up. I'll give this I'm right there with you guys. I'll probably give this like a 6. Left pieces of bubble gum all over. That guy just put
How the
gum
fuck
everywhere.
was the highest rated?
Or also Miss
Our
Pie.
highest, our wait. Oh, you're the highest rated. That's what you're saying.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
gave it like
he,
a
he came in at
6.8.
like 6.8. We all gave
No,
it
it's fine.
6. That's
It's
fair.
a 6. Everybody said a 6. It's an average out.
I
6
don't think
sexually
6.8 is off the
frustrated Miss
mark,
Pie.
though. I think you're fine.
Yeah. All right, and then with my pick for the next episode, guys, I was gonna go with something because R.I.P. This gentleman. We've been talking about this movie for a while, but I'm not gonna do it. I rewatched it last night, so I'm not gonna rewatch it again. We'll
I
save it
love
for another
you.
time. That was Cradle to the Grave. I'm
love
going to go back to my roots. We're going to the 80s.
I love you.
This gentleman just came out with a series recapping an 80s film. He's a guest star in it. He's not a big part of it. But I don't know. I think Brian might be with me on this one, but we're going to watch just one of the guys.
Oh, all right.
Yeah.
I'm not I remember one of the guys, not one of the 80s
What's
movies
the
I'm
movie
as
called?
familiar
What?
with.
Just
Just
one of the guys.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Billy Zabka plays Billy Zabka. And other than that, I couldn't
I
tell
thought
you.
you were leading us towards an Emilio because of the Mighty Ducks reboot. I thought we were
No,
heading
that's a
towards some
great joke.
Emilio.
Oh my God, the picture.
Oh, this movie is incredible.
Oh, this one's not going to hold up well at all.
Nope.
Oh,
Not even
man.
a little bit. And that's why I can't wait. Because
This is
yesterday, I
like
think was
he
his
could have picked
anniversary.
Soul Man and it would have been right on par.
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yep. It's about a girl who takes the identity of a man to get a writing career moving forward in high school.
She's just one of the guys.
Oh, I see her. I
Yeah.
spotted her.
She also one of the best boob shots on film.
Got a
Why does Billy
got a
Sapka
boob reveal to
has
look forward to, everybody.
why does Billy Sapka has gloves on this movie?
He wears the gloves, baby.
Oh
He
my
took-
God,
Strangling women.
I seen this movie as a kid. I remember the boobs. Where can the people find you, Joe?
You can find me at Chandigo1 on Twitter. I guess according to Jusef being a bully,
Yeah,
I like to
100%.
I like to think I just am fun.
I just tell it like it is.
No, I don't. I don't tell
Just a
like
trick,
I'm just an
bro.
asshole.
I'm just a truth teller.
I'm just an
The
asshole.
Joe Rogan experience over here.
Jeez, Brian bullies me into my worst fucking fears.
Ryan.
Yeah, you can find me being an even worse bully than Joe, actually.
Yeah.
I'm like, I'm a good person, and Brian's like, no, you're not. I'm like,
You're a piece of shit. I'm at Hercules on Twitter. I'm doing my thing out there. Losing followers, never rise and fall. Here it comes and it goes.
TJ.
You guys can find me at TJ Dex on Twitter. You're on Flyover State of Film YouTube. You should have taken the reins, so expect those episodes to come out so much faster, boys.
Bye.
Finger gun.
Oh, I have to do the stop
You
recording.
gotta stop recording.
Just gonna keep doing this.
I miss you, Steph.